Yo, what's going on YouTube? I am Germ here, and as you can see here, this is the CSGO all items graph from Esport Fire, and I know we're coming out of a time period over the past like 3 months where things have been insane. Things have been so fast, so exciting, so crazy, huge ups in the market with the CS2 hype, and then kind of things crashing back down. You know, every day things were either going up a bunch or going down a bunch or whatever, but then now we can see on the CSGO all items, really since June 30th, you know, the last 2 weeks, the market has overall been pretty flat. You know, things maybe went up for a little bit. They definitely went down for a little bit here, but they've rebounded well. Things are up, you know, from where they were 2 weeks ago, but not by very much. Things are flat, and things have been, you know, maybe overall a little bit more boring. I wouldn't necessarily use the word boring because I always think these markets are really interesting, really fun. That's why I make these videos and do all this stuff. But, you know, for maybe a more casual audience, things have maybe been a little bit more boring, but there have definitely been, as a whole, maybe the market's a little bit flat, but there are individual items and item classes, as always, doing better and worse than general. And today in this video, we're going to be talking about some sticker collections that have maybe been underperforming the market a little bit recently, and talking about whether it's maybe a good time to buy right now, or if they're going to continue to drop even further. I don't know, but we'll get into that. Also, just want to mention real quick, as I've said in previous videos, I am starting to dip my toes into cash trading a little bit. So if you are looking to cash out of any of your CSGO items, skins, you know, whatever, and try to get some cash, crypto, whatever for them, definitely check out, I think, the second link in the description below for my Twitter. DM me, reach out, we can chat, we can talk, whatever. If you're just looking to try and scam or API scam or whatever, you know, just don't even waste your time. You're just going to get blocked. I've already had some weirdos in my DMs and stuff kind of doing that stuff. But if you are looking for a safe and efficient way to cash out, let me know. Let's see what we can do. But what we are talking about today, like I said, the market has overall been pretty flat, but some things that have not been flat over the last 2 weeks are some of the more recent sticker collections. So is it a good time to buy? Are these things going to keep going lower? If we look right here, this is the Stockholm graph. And what we were just looking at was since June 30th, you know, the market overall is pretty flat. And since like the beginning of June, Stockholm's done well. It had this very, very, very crazy run up that we can see right here. But since July 5th, over the last 9 days, things are coming down. And, you know, everyone was loving it. Everyone was riding the highs as things were climbing. Even Paris hollows at this time were climbing. But now so many different stickers in the market are starting to hit this retracement, starting to not necessarily crash, but definitely dip downwards. You know, 1272 here down to 1176. So, you know, it's like a 10% drop, or maybe a little bit less than a 10% drop, maybe like a 9% drop in the last week. That's pretty significant. You know, I think most people would really call that a crash. And I know that we can look at some Stockholm items and stuff. I know the hollows have, I think, held up probably a little bit better than that, but definitely a lot of Stockholm items are getting hit hard. But also, if we look at Antwerp right now, we will see a lot of the same story. Up here on July 6th, Antwerp was at 1807, and it's since dropped down to 1664. So Antwerp has had even a more significant drop. So, like I said, people were riding these highs of both Stockholm and Antwerp climbing, and they're starting to go back down a little bit, and honestly pretty significantly over the last week. And one of the questions is, why is this? Which I don't necessarily know. I mean, partly because I think it's just natural. You know, when you see these huge gains, I didn't mean to zoom in there, but you know, we saw these huge gains going from 1550 in Antwerp up to 1800. You know, that's a very, very significant gain very quickly. And some of this is going to be people profit taking. Some of this is just going to be natural market cycles of, you know, things that come up are going to come back down, and you're going to have this constant up and down and up and down. Nothing's going to be straight up. Nothing's going to be straight down. So, you know, people were really hyped up and excited. There were also a lot of investors that were waiting until the Paris sale to buy into Antwerp and Stockholm, which doesn't really make sense, but that's what a lot of people were doing. So people were loading up into Antwerp and Stockholm, and the buying pressure kept going up. But then eventually, you know, people who had been saving up money for like the past couple of months to wait until the Paris sale, they spent all their money, and now things are starting to cool off a little bit. And as things go down, people are maybe panic selling, or like I said, people are just profit taking, whatever. That is all very, very natural. But I've been talking about how Paris prices I have been expecting to go down. And Paris prices, it makes sense if they go down because we have the Paris sticker capsule sale, putting these capsules at a cheaper price. So people are incentivized to buy a ton of them, open a ton of them. The supplies of Paris stickers are going to be increasing. Paris stickers should, you know, realistically and kind of logically over the next couple of weeks should continue to drop in prices. However, this is not the case for Antwerp and Stockholm. And that's why we saw these prices going up because, hey, these things are really cool. They're getting a little bit rarer. They're getting a little bit older. These things are still really, really good looking, and people like these stickers. And hey, the supplies aren't increasing. The capsules aren't artificially being pushed down. There's nothing that should rapidly be increasing the supplies of any of these. If anything, they're only getting older and more vintage and cooler and more unique and all this stuff, especially the good stickers from Antwerp and Stockholm. Yes, obviously another Borderless collection in Paris coming out has dropped the prices and everything and makes them a little bit worse, but we already saw these huge price drops. This doesn't mean that things should be dropping right now. So while I am kind of patiently waiting for Paris prices to keep going down, the question is now a perfect time to buy Stockholm and Antwerp, since it doesn't make as much sense for them to be dropping? Could this be a time to pick these up for a little bit cheaper? And I think yes. Right now, if you were buying Stockholm and Antwerp, I don't know if it's necessarily the perfect time. Nobody has a crystal ball. I don't know how these things are going to perform over the next couple of months or the next year or whatever. But I just think right now, specifically, if I had some money and was really itching to buy some stuff, or there was something I really loved from one of these collections, I think it makes infinitely more sense to be buying something from Antwerp or Stockholm than it does from Paris. I think the math and the logic and everything really checks out for these things. Because like I said, people aren't buying infinite numbers of Antwerp and Stockholm capsules right now. People aren't opening, tens of thousands of these capsules a day. The supplies of these stickers aren't increasing as rapidly, and really it makes sense that the prices should be increasing over time. So if we look at some of these things, like I said, some of these have held up better than others. If you look at the Maus Stockholm, obviously the most expensive holo in the Stockholm collection, it's actually held up pretty well. Today it's at like 41.62. If we look at like July 5th and 6th, it was at like 44. So it has dropped a little bit, but not really. Overall, this graph has looked really solid over the last month. The Maus Stockholm holo has just kind of kept climbing up. We do have, a ton of other ones in this collection. Obviously, Gambit, one of the cheaper ones that I think is kind of a hidden gem in this collection. It's gone down a little bit, from this area being like 340, 345 down to, I don't know, 283, 296, $3 in that range. We have the Heroic Stockholm, which I actually think is another pretty decent one, and one that I wouldn't mind putting some money into. 463 down to like 426. That's not really that huge of a drop, but I don't know if that's like a 5% drop or something. Just doing some quick math. We have the Team Spirit holo right here. $6 on July 5th down to 491 now. So this one is pretty. That's a pretty nice drop in like 9 days or whatever. So if you like this thing at $6, hey, well now it's below $5. So maybe you want to look into buying this. Some of the other ones in the collection, Entropic holo, I know is a very, very popular one. This one's gotten hit a little bit as well. $14 on July 3rd, down to $11 now, $3 cheaper. So again, if you were interested or buying it back there, this maybe makes a lot more sense to be starting to load money into it now. Running through some of the other top ones in this collection are some ones that I wouldn't mind putting money into. We have the Virtus Pro, 1767 down to below $15 now. That's a nice little drop. Tai Lu, I actually picked up some Stockholm Tai Lus recently. I think now's a really, really good time to get into them. These are one of my favorite stickers from the whole collection, obviously. Tai Lu holos, we're up to $28.72 on July 5th. They're down to $22 now, so they have dropped around $6 in price. Like I said, I did recently pick up some of these during this dip, so I do actually think it's a good time to buy for some of those. And then we have Antwerp as well, looking like a lot of the same stuff. We have the Heroic from Antwerp, 330 to like 262. Some of the more expensive ones in the collection, we have the Copenhagen Flames from Antwerp, $7 down to $534. That's a really, really significant little crash in the last couple of days. So it's just always kind of keeping an eye out on the different markets, using Steam, using Esport Fire, using all these things to see what's going up and down. And again, at the end of the day, one of the most sound investing principles is going to be trying to buy low and sell high. So when things are running up, going crazy, maybe buying into the hype, that can be a good time to buy. But when things are dropping and it doesn't make as much sense, like again, Paris dropping right now makes sense. Stockholm and Antwerp maybe doesn't make as much sense. When I see the Stockholm and Antwerp prices dropping, that actually makes me more willing and more likely to be loading money into it. So you have Eternal Fire here, again, $12.95 at its peak. It's $8.89 today. What is that? That's like a 33% drop in just a couple of days. That might be one to keep an eye on. We have the 9Z holo, one of the best ones from this collection, not hit as hard. 1089 to 1040 over the past week. Again, the best looking, most unique, most rare stickers are gonna hold up better. Those are the better investments. Those are the ones you want to have. So stuff like 9Z, which is really one of the best stickers from the Antwerp collection, not getting hit as hard. We have the Imperial, which has actually gotten hit really, really hard. $23.79 down to like $19.18 or $20 right now. So that's a nice little dip. And Imperial I actually think is a nice sticker from this collection, so one you might want to consider buying. And then we have the Cloud9 Antwerp holo. Impala, which this one has gotten hit pretty hard as well. This one got very, very hyped up to $46, down to about $37 right now. That's about, like a 20 to 25% drop over the past week. So, like I said, there is a lot of eyes on Paris right now. A lot of people keying in on Paris, and rightfully so. But don't, keep your peripheral vision open. Don't forget about these other things. Obviously it's a lot of information, a lot of different options. It's kind of information overload to be monitoring so many different things at once. That's also why I'm here to help you guys. Just understand that over the past week or so, Antwerp and Stockholm has been dropping very, very fast. It might drop more, but this might be an amazing buying opportunity. I don't know. Obviously, if you had money in these things, it sucks that you kind of been crashing down recently, but it might be time to maybe load up and buy some more. I don't know. I'm buying a little bit. I'm still spending most of my money on Paris, but keep these things in mind. But that's pretty much it for this video today, guys. Hopefully I catch you in the next one. Until then, peace.